Hello and welcome to another episode
of the Fidelity Plotters.
Yeah, the high fidelity music plotters.
The wireless fidelity plotters.
We decided that from the next podcast onwards, we will not talk to you, we will sing the podcast to you.
No, we'll beam it into your brain wirelessly like Wi-Fi.
Yes, the summary of the podcast can be via ChatGPT. Bzip.
You heard it. I sent you a video. I don't know if you saw this on Instagram about two chatbots talking to each other in this. What is it called? The
gibberish mode.
Gibber bit or something.
Mm-hmm.
They have a name for it. Apparently, it's a much more efficient way of communicating than the English language.
It's digital.
Yeah, and. It's the rise of Terminator.
Yes, when chatbots talk to each other, it's great.
Not scary at all.
No. I saw another video of this as well, where somebody said, it ended in SkyNet. It always ends in SkyNet, right?
Everything ends in SkyNet. Let me, in case the ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. I'm going to grab something here behind me. I've shown you this, yes?
It's not focusing. Your book. Oh, right.
My book, okay. It's called Surviving the Wild Wild Web, a user's playbook to navigating the internet's trickiest terrains. And I want to read something from this. In the chapter entitled The Ghost in the Machine, AI's Unseen Influence, I end with, let's see, page 252, somewhere in here. Here it is. It says, and this is really funny because we were just talking about this, right? So, let's see. As beings actually living in this world, we must change our perspective of technology and fully understand not only its benefits, but also its implications. Before diving in sum, the machines rose from the ashes of the nuclear fire. Their war to exterminate mankind had raged for decades, but the final battle would not be fought in the future. It would be fought here in the present, which is the introduction to
Terminator,
the original Terminator movie. So even my book, I sign off with a quote from Terminator. And I hit a bunch of references to Terminator in there. Kind of Sarah Connor stuff and SkyNet and all of this stuff. So,
good.
That is AI. Right?
Nerdy.
Yes. Go buy my book, listeners.
That is nerdy. Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's also a nerdy topic, so that's okay. Fine.
Of course. I mean, once again, I don't expect everyone to have seen Terminator, but if you haven't, then you're a lesser human being. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Which I heard, by the way, an even crazier thing.
Okay.
There was a lady who wrote the screenplay for Terminator. I thought it was what's his face that directed it. Was it Steven Spielberg?
Cameron?
Who directed? Was it James Cameron? Whoever did whatever.
I thought it was James Cameron, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be.
It might be, but it wasn't written by him. It was written by a lady who also wrote The Matrix.
Oh.
And
I thought The Matrix was written by the brothers there. No, what was this? James Cameron was the director, Yeah. Not Coen brothers. No,
there's another set of I don't know. But long story short, apparently, this is a continuation of the same timeline.
Gail Ann Hurd. She is the writer of Terminator. Yeah. So she and James Cameron co-wrote this.
Gail what?
Gail Ann Hurd.
Ann Hurd. Okay, got it. Yes.
But she did not write The Matrix.
No, that's not the one that... Hold on, let me see.
Once again. Yeah. We are in the middle of fact-checking Martin.
Hold on.
In live.
Sophia Stewart wrote and copyrighted a fiction book and script called The Third Eye Matrix, and it was later adapted to the screen as The Matrix and the Terminator movies, series, and trilogy. Sophia Stewart wrote both Terminator and The Matrix, not the screenplay, the actual apparently book, which they are then based upon. And now, what I heard,
if you're saying it is book,
apparently it was a book before it was a movie.
Well, I don't know. Do you see that anyway?
That's an excellent question.
if you have a book that is where Terminator comes from, but also The Matrix, and it's based on the same book.
No, 2 different books.
Okay.
Unless it's the same book. Body of work was later adapted to screen as the... No. It was the same book.
See, then there's concepts in it, right? In that book that they are somehow adapted and made into a movie, right?
2 movies. They were made into 2 movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
look
anyway,
at
the point
Isaac
of story
Asimov
was...
or so, right? I mean, there's inspired so many things. Right.
But apparently the story goes... one, which the Terminator was set in the past, and then the Matrix was set in the future. So in one case, humankind, so the machines rise up and overcome, or humankind overcomes the machines, and in the other one, humankind fades away and the machines take over. Something, I don't know. She was saying something interesting, but I don't remember exactly what she was saying. But essentially, they are a continuation of the same plot, which now, if it's based on the same book, makes total sense.
And that's why I believe very strongly we should have and continue to just have mechanical watches.
Correct.
There's no chance they will ever take over your wrist.
Yes, absolutely.
They're not smart.
And on that,
they rely on you 100%.
What mechanical watch are you wearing today?
Oh, I am wearing the same as in the last episode. I'm still wearing my Vacheron Constantin overseas, still on the bracelet. You got to get
the dollars up. Yeah, the cost per wear needs to go down.
Yeah. I'm now, where am I? I think I'm down to $2,600 per wear.
That's not terrible at all.
Ridiculous.
Very reasonable, some would say.
I can't. I mean, I sometimes still have to wrap my head around that I have a watch that is worth that much.
What's it called? Worth more though? The Daytona?
No. The Daytona is worth more on the market at the moment than this watch, which is sad.
That's what I'm saying. The Daytona is worth more.
From a list price here, this is of course more expensive. But the most expensive from a list price perspective is actually my Blancpain rose gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see this. Precious metal Blancpain.
Not for the price I paid. Anyhow.
On that note, on the Blancpain note, it's kind of in the same vein. I got a message today about a disgruntled listener. No, I don't think he's really disgruntled, but he says that we left something out, and I agree with him. In our episode entitled The Most Underrated Watches, a gentleman named Bruno by the Instagram handle @collectiblewatches says, just listen to the podcast, the last podcast. Nice to discover. But guys, there's only one really correct answer to the question of underrated, undervalued brands. Has the most interesting history, invented so many things, hands, cases, and massively copied by others. And when looking at the secondhand price, they're a huge bargain. In my honest opinion, much more interesting than the so-called Holy Trinity, but even the finishing of, I'm not going to say it yet, blank is better. So the most underrated has to definitely be this brand blank. So who do you think it is?
Breguet.
Yes, exactly.
But haven't we mentioned Breguet?
No, apparently we didn't.
Oh, yeah, then of course. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I think
we mentioned Blancpain, but we didn't mention
Breguet. High-end Swatch Group brands are all underrated because they are just undermarketed.
But the thing is, their prices are ridiculous. So at retail, they are ridiculous. They're not underrated, so to speak, right? Nobody's buying them.
I agree. So recently, and this is the thing, when we have this new results like from 2020 2024, where we saw that Breguet apparently has only 7,500 watches sold. Before, in the year before, they had 20,000. So that's a huge drop, right? More than 50%. So now
everyone's buying them used.
No, but wait. So either you can explain it away with, yeah, well, they had the low-cost model, the Type 20 is gone, and now they have a new one that's more expensive. It doesn't sell so well. And in any case, blah, blah, blah. They have maintained more or less the same revenue, but with way less watches. But also, it seems that Mr. Hayek has something to do with it, because he did say apparently something the last time to the guys from Oliver Müller and these guys who Luxe Consult and Morgan Stanley who make these numbers, and said, yeah, these numbers, in some interview he mentioned this, are completely ridiculous. Sometimes there's 40 to 60% off
Error
from the volume and the revenue. So just rubbish. These numbers are rubbish. So apparently they took this somehow on board, because I don't think they dropped that much, by more than 60% or something, the revenue. Mm-hmm. I think they just corrected the numbers, but didn't correct, of course, the historic numbers, because that would be a bit silly to do this retroactively, right? So anyhow, so my point is there, these numbers, we have to consider them with a grain of salt. There is, it's, as long as the brands themselves don't give us the numbers, we don't really know. But if it's true, right? I guess it's the only thing we have, and that's the one thing that why we are relying on this so much, is because we don't have any other numbers. And if the brands want, they can correct them. But they don't want to, right? So in the same vein, Breguet, I was looking up... Sorry to Bruno. Absolutely mea culpa. What is the... plural of mea culpa? My Latin is so rusty, I have no idea. But of course, it's our shame on us. We have forgotten Breguet.
Hold on.
And I think, well, we have to be really proper, right? We have to do it in Latin.
Mea culpas.
Oh, that's too easy. Is it really?
That is too easy. That's what I would have said. Plural of mea culpas, yeah.
Yeah, but this is, I think, it's not proper Latin.
This is dictionary.com is saying mea culpas.
Yeah, but that's just the plural of it. I mean, like the word mea culpa.
Oh, it doesn't have a traditional plural. So that's why we apparently...
Okay, I mean...
Or mea culpae or meis culpis.
Mea culpae, that sounds more like Latin. What does...
So it says plural mea culpas or mea culpae or meis culpis.
Mea culpa means in Latin my fault. So
mea maxima culpa.
If we say our fault in Latin, because we are nostra culpa. Nostra culpa.
That would make more sense.
Nostra culpa.
Because why would you say my fault? My faults is what they're saying, not my...
Yeah.
So when they said plural, it's my faults.
No, just take this mea culpa as a plural, like this, like it's an English word, right? One mea culpa, two mea culpas.
Yes.
Right? Like it's a thing.
But that's saying my faults. The fault is plural, not us, not our.
Nostra culpa. So Bruno, sorry for that.
What's it, like the Panerai? Mare Nostrum.
Mare Nostrum. That means our sea, right? Yes. Anyhow, so what I wanted to say is, Bruno, sorry for that. Breguet is absolutely underrated. Their build quality and finishing is absolutely up there with the Holy Trinity, maybe even beyond some of the Holy Trinity, because some watches from, let's say, Patek are not that greatly finished. Some are extremely good, well finished, but some are not. And I would say, yeah, Breguet is definitely up there if you look at their high-end pieces as well, because, Type 20 with the Lemania-based ones, maybe not, but some of them definitely are, and I think their contributions to the horological progress are too many to count, right? I mean, as you said, the Breguet numbers, the Breguet hands, the Breguet overcoil, the Breguet, the tourbillon, and whatever. I mean, there's so many things that Mr. Louis Abraham Breguet has developed. I have a big book about Breguet, right? This big fat coffee table book that I have yet to fully read. It's just incredible. And again, thanks a lot. I got this for my birthday from a dear friend, right? You know who you are. And yeah, it is really, really lovely.
It was from the both of us.
No. Do you mean
I spoke with him and I helped him, yeah.
Well, I doubt that. Anyhow, so my point is that this is really true. This brand is unfortunately very, very undermarketed. It's a shame. It's really a shame. Next question. I have a friend of mine.
What am I wearing? Yes, that's a great question.
No, to Breguet, and then we come to you. Breguet, and that is, would you think that Breguet today, because I have a traditionalist friend who says, no, you cannot use a silicium or silicon hairspring because that's not traditional watchmaking. Now, if Breguet would be alive today, the inventor as that he was, using the most up-to-date materials and the best technology he could find to make watches better.
Yes, of course.
Wouldn't you think that he would also use the best material you can get today?
Yes, but in the same vein, as we said, look at Rolex, always doing the same thing, best materials. Ceramic bezel, best material, doesn't scratch. Yeah, but what if I want my watch to scratch? By that logic, if we want to use the best materials, then let's go freaking buy an Apple Watch. That's the best materials. It's silicone, everything.
If you put it to the end, you're saying like, okay, if you just say the most precise watch is obviously...
And this is what pissed me off about the ceramic bezel on my whatever the hell, Submariner. It was lifeless. It doesn't get the nice, fading, the scratching over time. And this kind of bugs me. If you look at the pre-ceramic subs, they're just so much more character in those.
Yeah, I must say sometimes there is something with the older watches, right? Some of them are also, I think, especially for Rolex, before they went so bulky, right? I think the super case, maxi case, they're a bit more elegant, right? They just feel nicer.
They were smaller, svelter,
slimmer.
And once again, I had 2 out of my 3 Rolexes were maxi case, and I sold both of them, and I was just done with the maxi case. I think it was a square on the wrist.
Yeah, and I'm happy that they've gone back to this and have a bit more.
Yeah, which my new Explorer is the new shape, right? The new old shape, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that I have no complaints about. I can't fault it. Haven't really worn it, but can't fault it at the same time.
So what are you wearing then?
Not my Rolex. I have decided this morning to take my gray Seiko Navigator timer.
Looks good.
And put it on a gray NATO. And I'm deciding if I like it on the gray NATO or not. I posted a picture on my Instagram. It's all gray,
but
which I kind of like.
We are not the Grey NATO podcast. Just in
we
case
are not,
somebody is
but
confused.
I tagged them in it because this is the James Stacy NATO strap, the Ute. I don't know how it's pronounced. NATO. So the one that Hodinkee acquired the rights to before they folded into origami. But apparently, James Stacy, because I was talking to James the last time I saw him at Dubai Watch Week.
Okay.
And I asked him, what is your favorite NATO? He is the gray NATO. What is your favorite NATO? And he said, these Ute, whatever NATO straps. And I said, I had one. I'm not a huge fan. Mea culpa. And I told him, sorry, bro, I didn't like them. I like the previous generation Hodinkee straps better, the very simple ones.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, maybe if the gray NATO says so, I should try it again. So I went and got it out of my little box of stuff, put it on, and I realized it is about half the thickness of the other NATO strap that I have. It is not folded hardware, but milled hardware. So and it's stitched and not glued. So there is quite a few things in these NATO straps that is mechanically good. So, but the thinness, definitely, that is a huge plus.
Okay.
So, and it comes in 19 millimeters, which this is. So I needed a 19 millimeter.
That's true. Yeah, it's been NATO straps is not so easy. Sometimes they are 20, 22.
Yeah, I've put a 20 millimeter in this one as well, and it fits. But
yeah,
Yeah, it's
you don't want
nicer
it
when it's perfect.
Exactly. You don't want it to fizzle out on the sides, right? When it frays out.
Yeah.
Because of its rubbing back and forth there. So I have another question for you before we go to the main topic. Did you see Ben Clymer in one of the last YouTube shorts where he says the 5 things that he can't believe people do?
I don't remember what all 5 were, but it was 5 things that he can't believe is still a thing in modern watchmaking in 2025.
And you know what I think is...
What were they? Let's list
the conspiracy. I have to check. One is, I think, screw-down pushers in contemporary chronographs.
Yes.
And of course, he's showing that on a Daytona. Then
I agree.
Then he has great bracelets on great watches without micro-adjustment
absolutely.
And he shows that on an Audemars Piguet. Then he has watches with chronometer in the name that are not chronometer certified. Yes. And that's something I didn't know. I thought, what?
You have to. Yeah.
How can you? I mean, this is like, where is the authority in Switzerland who comes with the police and raids?
FP Journe chronometer bleu. Not chronometer certified, apparently.
Or chronometer à résonance.
What's his face as well? What's the guy, Akrivia, what's his name? We interviewed him.
Recep Rechepi.
Yeah, he also has chronometer in the name. Also not chronometer
certified. And yet
certified.
They do not submit their watches to any time signals. That is shocking. We have to ask him next Dubai Watch Week.
How dare you?
How dare you? And also,
like in the voice of that little Greta Thunberg. Greta
Thunberg. Yeah.
How dare you?
Yes. No. I think this is absolutely true. And what else did he say? The renaming of well-known historical off-the-shelf movements. So and not talking about it.
I agree. Lemania becomes everything under the sun, right? 1861, 861, 321, blah blah blah. And does Omega anywhere on their website mention that it was a Lemania movement in the Speedmaster?
Like Hublot, I'm giving it Hublot as an example to say, okay, we have the Hublot, what is it, 1110 or something movement, or 1110, which is basically a Celita SW300. That's it. They make sometimes make a bigger date disc in for the bigger dials, but that's as much modification as they do, and it's basically a Celita. And this is, of course, what a lot of brands do. They just take an off-the-shelf movement and just rename it and call it something. And that's rubbish. They shouldn't. Yeah, I agree with him.
Agreed. Meanwhile, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Hamilton with the H50 that we talked about last episode, they do mention that it was essentially a slowed down ETA. I think they're fairly... I think so. I'm not sure.
No, I think it is the movement itself is based on a specific ETA movement, which is then updated.
Reduced. The beat rate is exactly
2824.
So,
and then the last one, and this is I think where my conspiracy theory comes in: the perpetual calendars that require manual pusher style correctors with a stylus, so a little pin that you have in order to set them. Where you have
my perpetual calendar does not have that.
Well, I didn't actually have. I do have a perpetual calendar, but it's a Citizen Echo Drive, so it says perpetual calendar on the dial, and it's actually it is a mechanical quartz perpetual calendar because it has these 4 things and all of this stuff. So it's somewhat. I don't know how that works, but it is actually a perpetual calendar, but not one that knows the date, right? It has this 4-year stuff. But I think he's right there. But while we're watching this video, in the back is a wall clock, a big Audemars Piguet Royal Oak wall clock, where we see Ben Clymer talking. And then the last point is the perpetual calendar, and that you can't believe that this is still that you still need pushers, and then you can destroy it if you do it at the wrong time, right? And then Audemars Piguet comes out a week later, or not even a week later, and brings out a perpetual calendar in a Royal Oak that is entirely set with a crown.
And?
No pushers. Well,
so IWC have done this.
I know.
This is the Kirk Kloss perpetual calendar.
But what I'm saying is, he has Audemars Piguet in the shot, and he mentions them a few times.
Okay, what about the screw-down pushers?
Yeah,
is there
also
micro adjust?
Not there in the, of course, in the Royal Oak Offshore, because it doesn't have.
Exactly. So that doesn't count.
But
what about the micro adjust?
My point is, it just fits so well to Audemars Piguet, and he just came out right before Audemars Piguet launches this. I mean, look, of course he did know what Audemars Piguet
Does it have chronometer in the name?
No, but he has.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that everything fits to Audemars Piguet, but this one I thought that.
Did you know 9/11 was an inside job?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's from the
Conspiracy
people who also
theories,
didn't land on the moon.
The world is flat.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah, the moon thing was done in a warehouse in Hollywood.
Sure, yeah.
Definitely.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what, you think he was sponsored or tipped off by
I think
AP and said, by the way, make a video real quickly and let us know how that you don't like these things, and then we will come out the next day with it.
But if he's making this up like, I can't believe in modern watchmaking, this doesn't happen. And then, a week later, Audemars Piguet comes out and says like, look at our perpetual calendar. Look, no pushers. I think there is a bit of a connection, either because he already knew it was coming out, because he might have seen them under embargo, as, they do. They show them to things, show other journalists this stuff so they can actually write articles. Once they come live, you have the marketing push. Everybody publishes their articles, so you get the information ahead of time. And I think that was one of the triggers there, right? So it just fits so well. So I thought, So instead of talking about this, it's sort of related. My topic for you today, or two topics for you today, is that I think we have materials, because we have Audemars Piguet has, for the 150th anniversary, we have seen a couple of new watches in different materials, and I wanted to just quickly go through these with you and ask you: is it a no go or go for you, these materials in watches? So should I just go through them and then we talk about the second topic that I had? 316 steel.
Yeah, why not?
904 steel.
Why not?
Titanium grade 5.
I would like, yes. I currently don't have any titanium watches, but I like titanium, yes.
Titanium grade 2.
Yeah, who cares? I don't care about the grade. Zero care.
Rose gold.
If it's really cheap on a budget and it costs the same as a stainless steel watch, sure.
Okay. Yellow gold.
Same.
White gold.
I wouldn't pay more for gold. I'm not a gold person. Therefore, if I was looking, so yesterday I was looking at the Timepiece 360 auction, and I saw that there was a two-tone yellow gold and stainless steel Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the price. It was like $60K. So it was under retail.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, I would go for the gold over the stainless steel. Very clear.
Do you like the heft of a gold watch? I mean, the heaviness. I am always very impressed with that, I must say.
I could care less.
So white gold, is that something that you would consider? No.
White gold I like the most. Yes, I like white gold the most.
Okay.
I am definitely a white metal person.
How about bronze gold then?
The last Omega that we talked about, I do like the bronze gold. I think it's kind of cool, but I don't like the price. I think bronze should be cheap. You're right. Look at the Tudors, look at the Oruses. It has always been cheap. For Omega to throw in a small fraction of a percentage of gold and then call it gold.
37.5%, yeah.
Yeah, 37% gold and call it gold and price it as gold. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah. I think Omega has just gone bonkers.
Lost it, yeah.
With the pricing. Anyhow, platinum.
I have no concerns otherwise. I mean, if you give me a platinum watch, I'll wear it.
So now we have two more materials. Guess what they are?
Ceramic.
Yes, 50% right. And now
50% ceratanium.
There's another one. No, it's sapphire. My last material.
God, ew, gross.
Yeah, that's a bit. Ew.
That's a bit football playery.
That's
right?
a bit see-through.
Yeah, I'm going to say no for sapphire. I'm going to say yes for ceramic. I like ceramic. I've wanted a ceramic IWC for sure, if the right one were to come out. And then you missed a material entirely.
Yeah. If
Is
you
that
wanna,
it? All you have?
That's all I have.
What about carbon?
Carbon, yeah, of course. I mean, bioceramic, all the artificial ones.
Whatever
I
you
mean,
want to call
sapphire
it.
is also artificial. Okay, yeah, bioceramic, sure, and of course, carbon. We can say, yeah, definitely. Carbon.
And what about
what is about carbon? Would you consider a carbon watch?
The G-Shock. I like the G-Shock. The new Tissot, the PRX that just came out, and also the Tudors have come out in carbon fiber. All of these are
right.
Cool. Yeah.
So I think I've seen.
I don't know if yes, I would buy
Zenith
one. The Doxas. I've always liked the Doxas in their carbon fiber, and they've had them for quite some time.
And they don't. I mean, they are more expensive, but they're not
barely.
Crazy
I mean, you're talking like one's 10K and the other's 12K.
You remember the Zenith that came out in carbon, and it was just like stupidly expensive.
Oh, the one that Wacom made.
Where the bracelet is like the price of the whole watch, which is the same. I have to say the same with the bronze gold Seamaster, right? The bracelet costs more than the watch on the rubber brand. The bracelet itself, the price difference between this, right, is more than, I mean, you can buy 2 times the same watch in bronze gold on a rubber strap and still have 100 euros left to go for lunch.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And that is really where you think, wait a second, it's bronze gold. Yes, it's a Milanese bracelet, but come on, can it be?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
15,000 euros? Anyhow,
okay.
So, yeah.
What about rubber?
No, rubber as a material. I mean, it's coated rubber coated. I wouldn't.
Yeah, something like this.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, I did nearly buy a rubber clad Audemars Piguet in rose gold recently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's cool stuff.
But the rubber clad was the problem that this rubber seems to age after a couple of years and needs to replace it.
Have you heard of
and it's a bit
the
lovely.
Ferrari sticky buttons? But I think Porsche has sticky buttons as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So all these car companies, the material they use for the buttons is like a rubbery plastic.
How much the button costs? 130 euros. 130 dirhams. Sorry, 130 dirhams is one button.
Per button. Yeah. So it is... it is gross. And if that's what your watch is going to look like after a couple of years, that's...
you don't want sticky. Apparently, there's a couple of home remedies for this. If plastic or rubber starts to be sticky, there's, I think it's baking soda mix and stuff, and you rub it in, and then it sort of seems to work, I think. But I haven't really tried it, except with one plastic thing that I had, which started to get sticky, and it sort of worked, but then I threw it anyway. That's that. I think these are from my personal experience. I think I am actually fine with nearly all of these materials.
What about silver? You didn't mention silver.
Oh, also true. Man, third omission, basically. Yes. Silver.
Let me count. Hold on. You missed carbon. You missed rubber. You missed silver.
Well, rubber, I don't really think it's a case material, right? Because it's
G-Shocks.
But they have a metal core.
Carbon core.
Carbon core, yeah. They have a core. It's not really the case.
Fine.
So you sort of is, but yeah.
Three legitimate
three
things you missed. Okay.
So I did have a silver watch. Did you have one?
I know I didn't.
I
nearly bought the
58.
Yeah. 58. I wanted to buy this one, the taupe color.
Yeah.
It's cool. Did yours actually change colors?
No, I sold it so quickly.
Some people say that it ages. Some people say that it never aged.
It does age a bit. I think I saw that with some people that it ages quite a lot. I think it depends on the climate you're living in, the environmental conditions, also maybe how much you finger the watch, right, with the acids and oils and fats that you have on your fingers. So I think it might do. What led me to actually sell the watch was I changed the strap, because the strap, I didn't like it. I mean, the color I like, but the keepers, I keep on repeating this with Tudor watches. On the ceramic one as well as on the silver one, the keepers are so loose that they never really work. They don't keep well. And so I was really annoyed with this. So I changed it. And of course, I made a tiny, tiny dent on the back of the watch, on the lug, with just the like the tiniest of touches, right? And of course, because it's brushed silver, where you poke in or so, or you compress the brushedness, it is now shiny. So when you put a dent or scratch in it, it reflects light like crazy, because now it's like a polished part, right? So and I thought, oh no, how will this watch look after a while? So I decided, let's go.
You have to sell it then. I mean, I agree entirely.
Totally.
Meanwhile, I won't.
Don't want
so
shiny,
your
shiny
OCD
silver.
is totally different than my OCD, because I told you there's a watch that I was looking for, the Nomos Zeitwelt.
Weltzeit.
World time, yes. The Zurich Weltzeit, and there's one on the auction right now for like 7,900 plus, and I am not going to buy it because it's missing the box.
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me at all, because who cares for boxes?
I do. I guess I could buy a box somewhere.
Sure, if you wanted to. I mean, normal boxes are not.
But it's a very big watch. That's the other thing that scares me. It is 50 lug to lug.
Nomos always has these very long lugs. I think that's their.
Know. Yeah, but the watch itself is 40.
Yeah.
And it's all dial. It's barely bezel, all dial. And I'm thinking to myself, is it going to be too big?
They do have very long lugs. All Nomos have. And I don't know.
5 millimeters on each side.
I did have a few times the Club Campus on my wrist. Mm-hmm. I think it was the 40 or 42 millimeter one, and I loved it. I always wanted this watch, and I don't know why I never bought it. Honestly, I have no idea. But I really think it's beautiful. The blue dial one, Club Campus with a steel bracelet, especially the new one even. Oh, man, I love that watch. I think it's so beautiful. It's like a perfect alternative to a Panerai, right? Easy to read.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Now, that being said, I do believe that this Nomos, I was watching the video on Teddy Baldassar about this same watch, and it seems that this is not a true world time complication.
What? Again?
Yeah. It's not a true, he said, it's not a true world time complication.
Yes, because you can't see what is the time.
All of them at the same time. Exactly.
Yes, that's true. You can just set it to the city with a pusher.
Exactly. And then So it is technically a dual time.
Yes, correct. And it does show you your home time on the right side, on 3 o'clock.
Exactly.
Yeah, in digital
and then the other one is your
format,
travel time. So, and then you can click through all the cities and see what time it is in every city, but you have to click through. On the other hand, a real world time watch will show you the real time in every city at every point in time.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it doesn't seem like much of a upgrade to that movement. So apparently this was the GMT movement that they modified. So they took a GMT movement, modified it to get this world time ring on there. But I think all they would have had to do is not put the home time.
Yeah.
Right? Take the home time off. Make that, because that's independently settable with there's a button. The button sets the travel time.
Yeah.
But there is a way that this could have been done with the same stuff to make it an actual world time watch, but then they would have had to have the small subdial for the home time much larger so that it is inset into the locations. So it would have been possible with the same movement for my huge watchmaking expertise. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sure they can do this because they do make their movements in-house, so that's pretty cool. They design their watches in Berlin, they make them in Glashütte, they have the big factory there. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I meant the Club Campus Neomatic. I have to say the full thing. That's my dream watch. The Club Campus Neomatic.
We have one for sale in the group, 38mm.
Yeah, no, 37.
37.
It's
too skinny on the lugs. It's 18mm lugs. I don't like 18mm.
No, that's not for me. I need a bit bigger.
The price is really, really good though. Anyway,
how much was the price?
Now, how much? He said $6,000.
Oh, okay, that's a good price.
Which is nuts. Ridiculously cheap.
It is a good price.
Which if he says 60, probably would come down a little bit too. Nonetheless, that is now the second watch that I've looked at that apparently is not a real world time watch. So that got me thinking.
You have a tendency to pick
weird,
I don't know,
traditional, non-world time. Yeah. But I looked at the it's nap time. Sorry.
Yeah, you fell from the chair now. Yes.
That reminds me of the watch we were talking about before, the Bucherer, the Karl F. Bucherer.
Yes.
World timer, right? Apparently, that complication, the idea of having a rotating bezel with a 24-hour scale, was patented by none other than Patek.
Whoa.
And I'm like, that's crazy. So, and the thing is, at that same time, Patek already had a proper world time complication. So what did they gain from patenting this one as well? So they essentially it was created by someone else. They bought the rights to it. Patek bought the rights to this fake world timer with a rotatable bezel. What they gain, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's a cheaper version of a world time watch for sure.
It's interesting. I can't explain why that would be, but yeah. There you go.
All right.
So I'm now again. I mean, I've just while you were talking, I have of course opened up Chrono 24 and looked at my Nomos Club Pneumatic 42 date blue and black, and this is my problem. That is my second question to you. Now I am actually saving up for my Panerai, what was it? Blue Notte, right? My submersible Blue Notte. Yeah, I need to have about 25K, right? In dirhams. So now that I am starting to accumulate my watch budget and I have put, let's say, 10,000, 11,000 aside, which would be enough to buy the blue Club Sport Neomatic, right?
Club Campus.
Club Campus, yeah, whatever. Nomos Club Pneumatic or Club Sport Pneumatic. I forget. I think it's Club Pneumatic Sport or whatever. This watch.
Campus.
Should I just buy that? But then I still have...
Yes.
Because this is do you give in to this itch that you actually want a new watch? And then you lose track of the actual goal, which is the Blue Notte. This is my goal for like the last 2 years.
I don't have any goals.
And I had so many watches in between that came in between it. So, like then the chance of upgrading my Vacheron Constantin to the boutique, brand new
as
boutique
we mentioned in the watch curve,
cost me as much as I could have just stick with my old overseas and then bought the other one.
Stupid idea. I told you that. I told you that.
I love it. I love that I have the new one and it's blue and it's unworn and it's like a brand new Vacheron Constantin boutique edition. I'm happy.
Sure. Okay. Now, I'm in a very fortunate place that I have no goals anymore. I've had what I wanted in the watch world. I've sold a lot of it because I realized, maybe, I had them for many years. I didn't like them anymore. I wanted money. So now I have reached where you were probably 5 years ago with the opportunistic collecting. Mm-hmm. Whatever comes my way, if I like it, I will make it work, right? That's kind of where I am. So I have no outright goals of what I want. I will wait and see what comes out, what tickles my fancy, what it goes on sale. And then, mostly when I say what goes on sale, I mean in the secondhand market in our group, for instance. And if there's something that I really, really like, for instance, somebody mentioned that they had a Seamaster 300 for sale, right?
Yes.
16K. I asked, is it the new one? They didn't respond. So I'm guessing it's not the new one. But had it been the new one, I would have bought it. Right? That's kind of how I'm like, I'm not going to spend 24K on it, but 16, yeah, sure, why not? And this is how I'm operating at the moment, is just kind of, we'll see what comes next. Whether it's buying back my old watches that I sold to someone else, which I did twice last month, Sure. Who cares? Whatever. I got rid of the things that I didn't like anymore in my collection. So now I'm open to suggestions.
Okay.
Suggestions by a divine authority.
Okay. So a divine authority, so not me.
Yeah. So whatever comes my way, I can look at. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's what
I don't care about human suggestions.
Yeah.
You could suggest whatever you want. I'm not going to listen.
I know you're not listening to me. That's okay.
But now answering your question, should you save up if there is something that I have three answers, maybe even to this. One, I've done this before where I knew that if I didn't buy it now, I would never be able to buy it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's something in which case I say, if you don't have the money, you make it work. You figure it out. You take out a loan. I've done that before. You can get these ridiculous credit card loans from the local banks here, 6 months or something. And instead of saving, you pay them back, right? Mm-hmm. And the interest is like 0.05% or something ridiculously tiny. So 0.5%, less than 1%. And the processing fee was 50 dirhams.
But it is per month, this interest.
No. You pay once. You essentially, they tell you the total of what you would pay back, and it was negligible. So, for instance, I did this for my my Santos when I bought it. So essentially, I hadn't saved up. I didn't have a single cent to pay for that Santos. So I took out the credit card loan, and I paid 19.5 because the watch was 8K under retail price. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make this work. So I think altogether I paid in interest like 150 dirhams, all said and done, over the course of 6 months. And then I just paid him a monthly. So this is definitely possible. I highly recommend this, but only if the watch is a huge saving. And if you saving up for it would cost you more in the long run, which for me, I was going to buy it at retail and I would have spent $8,000 more. Right. And it was a 6-month-old watch that I bought. So there was no reason to do that. That's one. Number two, if it's a piece that is just ridiculously rare, that you're never going to see again, that's your one opportunity, then you can do this as well. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's something that is a used watch that there's a million of in the market, like your Panerai that you want, in this case, I would say if it comes, it comes. If you get it, if you find the right one, deal with it then. But there's no point to save up because I'm looking at it like I wouldn't buy it on Chrono. I feel like many of these Chrono prices are absurd. They're ridiculously inflated. Plus you have to pay import duties, plus. So I would only buy it locally, right? So
you could also just make offers, right? I mean, this is the thing. You can make offers with a lot of these things. Yeah. You can just try. Just give it whatever is your maximum and see what happens. Right.
Yeah, but this is what I don't think is saving up for something, and then you end up saving up 20K, and then the cheapest one you find is 25. Then what?
Yeah, you make an offer, whatever you have.
Yeah,
right?
you make an offer, and everybody rejects your offer.
Well,
then what?
Then you wait.
Then what the hell did you waste your time
the budget.
For?
No, that's the point. You wait until you have the budget to buy it. I mean, obviously you have to have the target value in mind, and then you save up until you have it.
Yeah.
So you wait another 5,000 in order to save 5,000. I need to wait another 3 hours.
Yeah, and then I just don't know.
No.
I don't know. The market is so volatile right now. I don't know what is going on. Everything seems to be getting cheaper. So by the longer you wait, the cheaper things get. So.
Yeah.
Once again,
pre-owned, yes, there's a lot of things. I think the pre-owned market is focused on just the bread and butter watches, I think. So the more obscure ones and the watch brands that are not in hype at the moment, they just go a lot. I mean, they go down a lot. Yeah. On the other hand, I think inflation is there, so generally things get more expensive. But
But new watches get more expensive. So if you're looking at buying at retail, it's just going to go up. But if you're looking at buying secondhand, that could go down. So this is the issue that I don't know what I would do. If there was something I wanted right now, I would say if the price is, in my mind, if I set a price, let's say I want to spend 20K on this watch, and I found the right one, I would jump the gun and buy it in advance, even if I didn't have the money, rather than blow that money on something else, which is what you tend to do. Yes, I guess mine is the more irresponsible solution.
This is my more opportunistic one. I'm not getting into debt for my watches, so that is not very responsible, what you're saying.
But it depends.
I'm just blowing it on a good opportunity that I have in between. That is not blowing it. That's something you have, right?
Yes. Okay. So
This way I got into my Vacheron Constantin and other things.
Don't go in debt for your watches unless it is something that you could sell for more. So for instance, during COVID, I said this to people. Yeah, if they offer you a GMT at Rolex, you don't ask questions, you buy it. Then if you can't afford it, you sell it and you make money on the deal.
Yes.
Right? There's no need to, you can either make it work or you don't make it work, in which case you sell it. Right? So there are certain watches like this.
That's true. I mean, GMT Master 2 is definitely something that you can always just wear for a year and then still sell with a profit. Right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't suggest carrying the interest. If you're buying it in debt, in actual debt, like on a credit card, I wouldn't carry a years of interest, right? This would be something I would make a decision within a month, right? So that you don't end up paying interest on it as well.
I wouldn't. Yeah. In this case, if
you have credit cards, like everyone, I'm guessing our listeners have credit cards. You have a month to figure out what the hell you want to do with it, right? So if you think you can make money on it within a month, or you could sell it and break even, and you tried it, then you lose nothing.
Yes,
but if you aren't like you, Ralph and I, and you know that everything you buy you keep and you don't sell anything, then you have to, because I know a lot of people that ask me, where do you sell your watches? How do you sell a watch? So that selling is not always as easy as you think, and most people will just go to, one of these watch stores and try to sell it there. They're going to give you the worst price, right?
So, of course, they do. Yeah.
Well, find a group.
Yeah. Find a group. Find
Facebook.
Do Chrono, of course. Chrono 24. They can be very lucky and sell watches there. I recently sold 2 watches on Chrono 24 again with a reasonably good price. Yeah. These are the things you can do. Absolutely. So I think then we have
what
we have decided.
What do we conclude?
We conclude that it's yes and no. The answer is yes and no. Should you wait until you get the watch that you really, really, really want, which you have set out for a long time? The idea is, yes, do this, unless don't go and scratch your itch if it's just a watch that you think you itch a bit after.
But at the same time, I had a watch that I wanted. If you recall, I told you this. I wanted the titanium Longines Spirit Zulu Time, the GMT. And then while I was searching for that, because of course it sold out, I was searching on Chrono and the forums. And at that time, while I was searching around, somehow, I don't know how, I found a listing for my Doxa Topper Edition. And it was the exact same price. And I was like, screw it, Topper Edition Doxa, let's go.
But
and I bought that instead.
That's the opportunistic one. But if a good deal comes up across during your saving up period, that you think like this is too good to pass on, then by all means go for the good deal. So that's my advice there. So it's a yes and a no. So it's like, okay, if nothing comes across until you reach your budget,
it's magic. You will always find good deals.
Nowadays, unfortunately, it's very tempting. Very nice.
It is. Like right now, this 7K or 7900 Nomos I'm looking at, but do I need another watch? No, I don't even have a slot left in my watch box.
It's horrible. What do you do?
I know.
You have to always have one on your wrist, or is this already calculated in your watch box?
No, it is not. But
see?
At night, I don't wear watches, so I have to put them down somewhere. That's the problem. So I've already overwent my watch box of 8 by 2. So I have one in a watch tray, and I have one in a single watch box next to it.
So I have also a lovely birthday present from another very good friend. I have a watch stand.
Is he a birthday?
No, it wasn't.
Is he a birthday?
In October was my birthday.
Oh, okay,
but my point was, and thank you for not remembering.
What do you mean not remembering? You never told me. Did you tell me?
No, you don't have to tell somebody.
When's my birthday?
I don't know. Soon.
Exactly.
Soon. It's in May, no?
November.
See?
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, very, very close.
Yes. I mean, my point was when I have this double watch stand with this marble base and the two cushions there, and it's really nice. It's really nice. And I have this robot. I have this MBNF robot thing, the robot watch thing.
Yeah.
It's also very nice.
I've seen it.
Super nice. Yeah.
Well,
but then the question is, I can't just put them out, randomly, because my wife is then saying, "What is this contraption? Why do you have this robot here?" And then I put a watch in it. It's like, oh yeah, that is actually quite nice. But if you don't have a watch in it, then, well, it just looks like a
this seems
toy,
like something that would get knocked over.
Yeah. Anyhow. So yes and no is the answer. Just do what you want.
Yes.
But no, in general.
And on that bombshell.
Yeah, it's good to wait a bit. Cool down. Don't give in to your impulses. Impulse buys are usually, and ask Martin, impulse buys.
False. Some of my best watches were on impulse buys.
See, and sometimes
my
they're
Explorer
good, sometimes
was an
they're
impulse
bad.
buy.
Okay.
The only Rolex I have left was an impulse buy. What else? The Doxa was an impulse buy. I love that thing.
Well, that was a good deal that came across. You really liked this watch before, right? It's not
of course I liked it, but there was only 99 made, so the chances of you coming across one.
That's why it's a good opportunity.
And it was less than retail price, which also was very strange.
Yeah. So I think drunken impulse buys.
It's fantastic. I've made a lot of these. No, I've made a lot of them, and I don't regret many of them. My JLC, my Reverso impulse buy, kind of. No, I did a lot of research into it, but then I finally, when I said I'm going to buy it, I was laying in bed dying of COVID. So I said, screw it. It's my COVID watch.
All right.
So there you go.
Okay.
Who knows?
All righty. On this vein, then, let's speak again next week and see what comes up.
Yeah, what I find by then.
Mm-hmm. Who has a new watch by that time?
I'm not going to. I have no money.
Okay, that's a very good point.
I've decided if I buy anything, I'm going to have to sell something, and that something most likely will be my Tudor, because that's the one that I have the least right now at this very moment in time. I have the least. Yeah, but that can change tomorrow. Who knows? Because I don't want to sell it. I don't want to sell anything. I just want to have infinite money and just keep getting money and, like an infinite money glitch where you just continue buying watches for free.
I need this. If you have an infinite money glitch, send it to us.
I will. I'll let the readers and listeners know.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.